The package arrived 3 days late. Wooden. Heavy. No return address. When I opened it, the smell came first. Sweet, metallic, unmistakable. Inside was her head. My wife. Wrapped in a corporate shipping manifest from Volton Minerals. Her eyes were half open, her mouth frozen mid-scream. A ring I had given her was clenched between her teeth, like she had fought to remind me who she was. I didn't scream, didn't cry. I just stared at the box until the clock struck midnight. Then I poured a glass of vodka, raised it to the bloodied relic of my life, and whispered, "I will burn their world to ash." They thought she was just a local, a casualty. They didn't know she was the wife of a man who'd spent years perfecting the art of destruction. They didn't know who I used to be. I met her in Bukavu, 20 kilometers from hell. I was a security advisor then, training Congolese soldiers for a contract company. She ran a small aid post, patching up the damage left behind by men like me. She laughed too easily, trusted too quickly. She made me believe that even a man who killed for governments could still be forgiven. When I left the field, I promised her peace, a home, a quiet life far from the noise of blood and currency. But the corporations came. Mining rights, private militaries, ruthless efficiency dressed as business. They cleared her village because it sat on cobalt. Her people were in the way. Volton Minerals hired a private military contractor, Arcturus Global, to secure the area. They called it a containment operation. I called it murder. Their report said 0 civilian casualties. The box on my table said otherwise. I didn't go to the authorities. I knew how this game worked. Arcturus had friends in every embassy, every boardroom, every government pretending to care. Instead, I went quiet. I started with the emails. Corporate chatter leaked through ex-employees, hidden in the corners of the dark web. There it was, coded references to Phase 9C, liquidation successful. Liquidation. I traced signatures, shell accounts, and logistics manifests until one name appeared again and again. Marcus Vale, Operations Director, Arcturus Global, former British SAS. He'd signed off the order. And beneath his approval, payment authorized by Volton Minerals, CFO Helen Drayton. 2 names, 2 ghosts, 2 coordinates in my scope. I didn't rush. That's what separates vengeance from chaos, timing. Weeks became months. I built profiles. I learned their habits, their homes, their fears. Vale had a wife and son. Drayton lived alone in a penthouse filled with art she didn't understand. They would never see me coming. But revenge is rarely clean. When I infiltrated Arcturus's internal server, I found the classified after-action footage. Drones recording the operation from above. I watched, frame by frame. The soldiers moved through the village like predators through grass. Flamethrowers, gunfire, screams. Then, a flash of her red scarf. She was running toward the church, trying to get the children inside. One of the operators turned. His mask was off for a second, enough for me to see his face. Marcus Vale. He didn't just order it, he pulled the trigger. He laughed after she fell, said something I'll never forget. Locals don't count. That's when the last piece of my humanity dissolved. 3 months later, Vale's house burned to the ground. Not with him in it. He didn't deserve that mercy. I waited for him outside the remains. He stumbled through the smoke, coughing, clutching his son's photo. When he saw me, recognition flickered. Then, terror. "Who the hell?" I cut him off. "You killed a woman who wore a red scarf." His mouth opened, closed. "She begged you to spare the children," I said. You laughed. I was following orders. I stepped closer. So was I. The explosion I planted in his car was small, surgical, enough to erase him without collateral. I didn't stay to watch. I'd seen enough death for 10 lifetimes. Helen Drayton was easier. Her downfall wasn't fire, it was paper. Leaked financials, tax evasion, war crimes. I made sure every file led back to her signature. The world that protected her tore her apart. Now I live where no one knows my name. Somewhere quiet. The world believes Marcus Vail died in a freak accident. Helen Drayton is serving 30 years. Arcturus Global has dissolved. Justice? No, just balance. Every night I sit by the fire and think of her, the woman with the red scarf, the one who made me human again. I remember her laughter, the way she said I had gentle hands, even when they were scarred. She believed I could build. She never knew I was born to destroy. I keep her ring on my finger, the one they couldn't take from her mouth. Sometimes I imagine she's watching. Sometimes I hope she's not, because the promise I made to her wasn't love. It was vengeance, and I kept it.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.